What's up, what's up, what's up, my friends? Welcome. Get ready. Grab a snack and a bevy. It's time for you and I to have a chit-chat. Straight up facts. Tell it like it is. Laugh till you pee your pants. Cry because you probably needed to. And I can't promise, and I'm not going to throw any F-bombs, but I can promise you'll feel a lot better after listening. It's time to get personal, one-on-one, down and dirty, and have a coffee talk. Buckle up. Let's go. Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Coffee Talk Saturday. The good news is my voice is much better than it was like 3 days ago. My friends, I look forward to these coffee talks now because they're like therapy. I'm just shooting right into it. I'm like, this is a therapy session for me. Can I just say how incredibly fucking insane the last 30 days of my life has been? Like, fucking insane. I don't know how else to say it. It's fucking insane. I'm working on the cussing, but it's on like number 8 on my list. Okay. Let me tell you why. Because there's so much shit I need to take care of before I feel that that's just like nothing right now. Every morning I'm doing my Jesus Calling book because I need to find some sort of sanity and like steadfast calm in my fucking soul. That's where I'm at. Like the devil ain't winning this motherfucking game. I'm over it. So I wanted to talk to you guys about so much shit going on. So in the last week, at the time of this recording, I have withdrawn Peter from school because of all sorts of shit that was going on. So long story short, we enrolled Peter at his request. He wanted to try to go back to school. He wanted to go back to school to see if it would be a setting that he'd be interested in. Has Peter ever been in a school setting? Not really. I mean, we did a parent taught at the district when he was in pre-K. He did, I think he did like a kindergarten, but I still homeschooled. So we didn't really count it. It was like fun time. And then he did pre-K. That was it. So we did pre-K, parent taught, and then we did a pre-K at the district. But that was only a half day. And like I said, we just used it for like fun time. And then he went to kindergarten at the district. We registered him. And all the while I'm homeschooling, right? Because that's what I do. And I do think that if you can, you should educate your kid from school because they're not, first and foremost, they should always be learning from home. That's just my personal experience. I think that school is a great place to get supplemental education, especially grammar school or elementary school. I guess it's more like it, elementary school. But I don't believe that you should rely on schools to educate your kids fully because look what the hell has happened to our country. Anyway, that's a whole nother fucking podcast that I just can't even fucking fathom right now. My soul cannot withstand the current events that we're in. So we enrolled him. So and don't forget, like kindergarten, he did 11 days and that was the COVID fucking year. And he kept overheating and going to the emergency department because the teacher wasn't fucking letting him drink water. They had to ask for it. I'm like, dude, it's their first year in school. It should be right at their fucking desk or on the floor so they could just get it at any time. I hated that teacher. She was an idiot. Anyway, I pulled him after 11 days because I got tired of paying for ER visits. And he had a total change in behavior. He was like unruly, could barely walk down the street, behavior disorder. Just like fucking nuts because he was so dehydrated. And heat exhaustion. Yeah, that's what they were. So the ultimate diagnosis from the pediatric and the ERs were dehydration and heat exhaustion. So that said, I've been homeschooling my ass off. He said he wanted to go back to a school setting and try it out. And I said, okay, Cool. We have that kind of relationship with him. So, like we discussed, and I've talked about in other coffee talks and all that, we opted to stay out of the public school for personal reasons, and we opted to stay away from Catholic schools for personal reasons. So we found a private, and we decided to go to a Christian private school. And so everything ticked the boxes, but like the school system is so fucked up. And if you're not somebody who believes that our current school system in the United States is fucked up, let me tell you a little joke that my finance podcast guy says all the time. What do you call a person who knows 3 languages? They're trilingual. What do you call a person who knows 2 languages? Right? They're Duolingoed. And then what do you call a person who understands only 1 language? American. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. So, and I know there are Americans, don't come at me, people. I'm just making a point here. There are people in America who speak more than 1 language, but however, we tend to not be the smartest people in the world. Don't get me started. And if you come at me with how, America is great, it is, but we have to make it that way again. I will do a whole fucking podcast about it. Anyway, so we enrolled him in this Christian private school, and everything looked like it ticked the boxes. But as usual, I went in with like blinders, hoping that all would work out, and it didn't. So there were some instances in which Peter was being accused of basically like hitting just a few people. There were the same people involved. Let's just say that, which was my first red flag. There were same people were involved with respects to him, like kind of bonking them with his lunch bag. I don't think anybody should get hit with a lunch bag, but it was always the reports always became, and the emails, he became frustrated and hit a classmate with his lunch bag. He became frustrated and hit a classmate with his lunch bag. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's awesome. Like, not okay once, twice, 3 times. And I'm like, okay, well, number 1, what the fuck is going on at lunchtime? And number 2, what is he actually getting frustrated about? And I'm raising my hand from the kid who got bullied in fucking elementary school. So I'm curious as to why he's becoming frustrated. And when I asked those questions, they could not be answered. They just kept coming back with, this is an adjustment for Peter going into, from homeschool to a classroom setting. And, once he learns, the rules and that the behavior of obedience is an obedience. That's all they kept talking about. So now my PTSD is fucking coming up from Catholic grammar school, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling good about any of this shit, but I'm going to keep advocating for my kid. But also, dude, you get to take a small lunch bag to school because obviously the big one is too much of a fucking weapon for you. Like, what's up with that? Like, stop hitting people with your fucking lunch bag. And then towards the end, 13 days, 13, I'm not really sure. That's how much he made it this time. He went a day and a half longer than fucking kindergarten in the public school district. So then I thought to myself, good thing it wasn't the metal lunch boxes that we fucking went to school with. I'm like, shit, like that's hitting somebody on the head with that. That makes an impact. A soft, cushy one, I'm not really sure. But I'm not defending that he like hit and invaded the space of another student. I'm not okay with that. Okay. But I still want to know what has driven him to that point. What is this frustration we keep all talking about, and where is it coming from? And so that kind of went undone. The only time I did not get a notification from the teacher that there was a fucking incident, and the whole time he was there, she decided instead to not tell me that he had a wonderful day. She decided instead to tell me that he was struggling in something that I, as his teacher for his entire life, knew he already knew how to fucking do. And I said, I think, I'm confident that Peter already knows that because he's displayed that kind of stuff. Rounding. It was rounding, people. Fucking rounding. He already knows how to round tens, hundreds, 1000s. So here's the deal. I think he had an amazing, spectacular day. And he's super fucking excited inside. And he just kind of like that flew over his head. He's just lost right now in the moment. But I will review pages with him and I will send them from my work, my curriculum. So now I go to education.com. It's one of the places I get curriculum from and worksheets and stuff like that. It is a website open to all teachers across America. So I'm not really understanding why she did what she did. However, she sent me an email response stating, maybe this will help them. And it was a homeschool pop video, which is like for fucking toddlers, by the way. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure. Maybe you did not attach the right email, but that's like a homeschool pop video. And like we did all those like when Peter was in kindergarten. I'm unsure why you would send that to me. So when he came home that day, I went through, did all of the review. He did it fine, knocked it out. I put it in his folder and that was the end of it. I never fucking heard from it again until the final incident, which was when she told me that he became frustrated with another student and he told him he was going to punch him in his face and that they don't do any violence and all this other stuff. Now, mind you, they have this behavioral program. I'm dumping peeps, so bear with me. They do a 3-token system and the tokens are Velcroed to their desks. So when they're taken, like all, Catholic PTSD here, when they misbehave or they're warned and it's taken, they do it in front of the class for shaming reasons. Okay, let's just be fucking honest. Okay, it was like, hey, we told you twice, you didn't do it, so now I'm going to take it in front of the class. Now, let me tell you that this system works for some people, but it doesn't work for all. Because let me explain to you how I would react to that system if I was a kid. If you took one of my tokens, I'd be pretty pissed that you did it in front of the class inside. Because I got a lot of shit going at home as a kid, right? If you took 2 tokens from me in front of the class, I'm in it to win it now, motherfuckers. You're going to take this 3rd token and I'm going to make it fucking spectacular in fashion how you take it. Because this is how I operated. And I'm not saying that Peter operated that way because there was other stuff going on. However, when I questioned and goaded and did all that, I was talking to my therapist and I asked her if she would Pete always says hi to her. I do tele therapy. So I'm always at my desk with like headphones. So Peter will always come and say hello to her. He fucking knows her. Like it is what it is. Right. And so she had talked about school and blah, blah, blah. I had to use the bathroom. So I got up, went potty in my little powder room and Pete was just chit chatting because that's what he does. And when I came back, he went in there and then she said, just so you know, he just shared information with me that basically involved him telling me that his frustration is at school was from 2 boys that were bullying him verbally. She said a few times he said that they not pushed him, but like poked him at his chest, which is still, to me, if you poke me in my chest, you're going to be laying on the ground. But apparently somebody had said something to him verbally that was not okay. And I'm not going to share it here because I don't want any issues with the school, meaning not that they would do anything, but I'm pretty sure that there may or may not be people who listen to my podcast that are still at that school. And I really just want to move on with all this, but there's a lesson at the end of all this that I'll discuss. But something happened where somebody said something to Peter, and I 100% believe that he was justified by telling that boy that if he continued doing what he was going to do, he was going to punch him in the fucking face. Because let me tell you this, apparently getting whacked with a lunchbox numerous times and still getting verbally assaulted from somebody and having a teacher who's had these kids twice, 3rd grade, and she was the kindergarten teacher, kind of pissed me off. And I'm like, you know what? And then Mr. Sith made a observation and said, when you're going back and forth with all these emails and I'm on all of them and I just read it kind of like as an outside person, it is kind of clear that you and the teacher are in like a power struggle. And I'm like, oh, well, shit, I didn't notice that because I don't ever fucking win because it's my kid. And the power over his education and all this belongs to me. I am paying them to supplement his education, and they can't even fucking protect him from verbal assaults. So I'm like, well, whatever. So I fucking pulled him because they gave him 2 pink slips for the last 2, and that meant detention and that it would start going on his record as a behavioral disorder, like violence. And that's not my kid. And always listen to your gut when it comes to your kid. And I did. So I pulled him out of school that fucking night. You can withdraw. I live in my state. I can withdraw. And our homeschool rules essentially state that they can do nothing. We're protected. So you just have to withdraw for obviously delinquency issues and stuff like that because they have to report. So I did that, and we unschooled for a weekend. And then now we're tipping our toe back into it because for 4 fucking days, I had to plan a whole year's of fucking curriculum. I had to get books that I didn't order. I had to get reading stuff. I had to get language stuff. I had to get, co-ops. Don't even get me started on homeschool co-ops. Most of the stuff we did was already booked or full, so you can't get in them. I'm in a very large area that does homeschooling. And so there are tons of co-ops available, but they fill up very, very quickly. That's got to say something about the school system in this state or in this area, but I'm just saying. So we decided that we were going to just do that. And I pulled them, obviously. And then I got all my curriculum ordered. I did get into our local co-op here. They were just wonderful. I just love that homeschool family so much. And so I gave them a nice, like rounded homeschool stuff. And people, I will say, I'm going to do it only because people have been asking me, like, what actually happens with homeschool. And so I do, for me personally, I do a generic weekly lesson planner. And so there are things that he does every day for short increments of time. And then there are curriculums that we do every day in subjects. Okay. So for instance, I'm just going to go through mine so people know, because a lot of people feel that they're going to homeschool and then they want to stay home and like have their kids sit in front of a TV or a computer or a tablet or just at the table and read books for 8 hours. Homeschool is not school. It's 2 different things. And so you can get more. So for 3rd grade, the maximum amount of time that you would spend is probably an hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we go shorter. Now, that does not mean consecutive time. So sometimes we go over that because we don't do our lessons back to back to back to back because that's not the whole point of homeschool. You know what I'm saying? So on Mondays, we do language arts, handwriting, and spelling. And that comes from The Good and the Beautiful, which is a great homeschool program. And they do like, you can use that for like tutoring and stuff like that too. They do a bunch of other stuff as well. Highly recommend them. And then on Tuesdays, we do math with Zern, which is like learn with a Z. And then I supplement that with worksheets based on what he's doing. And then finance, which we use the Greenlight app. And then after that, I have a series that I'll purchase. And then what he does is he'll do like a couple units of that. And then there are quizzes on that after. On Wednesdays, we have world history. And then I try to keep it to that because world history is very involved and there's lots of activities that go with it because I make it fun and we bake and all kinds of stuff. So that's what our world, and we're doing Middle Ages this year. And then Thursday, he's at our homeschool co-op and that starts at 10:30 and he goes until 3. And then we have lunch there as well. Then he does American Sign Language, Project STEM, Easy to Sew, and Baking the Bible. And I will tell you, He did very well in ASL. I did not know that Mr. Sith had touched on some sign language in Boy Scouts. And so, of course, then he got pulled into like a more advanced table and was doing very well. His project STEM is STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. She said that he integrated right in, didn't have any problems working in groups. Imagine that. Easy to sew. So he said he wanted to take this. It's essentially, there are other boys in the class, but they are learning on sewing machines. And I'm like, I have one, but I don't know how to use it. I'm like, I don't know. He's going to show me some things. So we obviously missed the first week of co-op. So we got the second week. So he actually sat down at the sewing machine at a table with two girls who were like maybe 10, 11, and they knew how to sew, maybe a little bit younger. I don't even know, but they were very experienced already. This wasn't their first sewing machine. Let's just put it that way. And he was very cordial to them. He asked if he could sit at their table because they were like in pods of 3. And I was like, what a great table to sit in, because they were showing him how to put on the thread, all the kind of stuff. He never once jammed his machine. He did his test patterns on how to use the foot, how to raise and lower the foot, how to raise and lower the needle with the knob. He did his whole test pattern and did the first project for that day, all in the same hours. And some kids didn't finish just the project that day. But he made a headband. He made me a headband, like with elastic. I was like, how adorable is this? Like, I can't right now. And he did really well. I'm like, that's better. I mean, it probably looks like mine would. I was pretty impressed. Let's just put it that way. And then our last class of the day is called Baking the Bible. And it's essentially going through the Bible and telling stories. They started with obviously Adam and Eve. And they were talking about the garden and all of that stuff. And they baked apple cobbler. It was pretty funny because I'm like, hey, it smelled really good. He goes, it was delicious, Mom. And he's like, I ate it all. And I'm like, did you save me any? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay. Cool. And then on Friday, we do science. I had Peter pick 4 electives for this year, 2 for the first semester in fall and 2 for the semester in the spring. He picked marine biology. We also do that with Good and the Beautiful. And he also picked geology. So he wanted to start with marine biology. Then we're going to go geology. And then he has 2 other ones that we're going to do next year for the spring. And then we do American history knowledge with the Tuttle Twins series. And then that's when we also have our spelling test, because he'll do spelling words on cards throughout the week. Now, his daily stuff that he does in little increments is that he has to read to himself for 15 minutes a day. If he does not do these things, he cannot have tablet time or PS5 gaming time. And he's limited to what he could watch on TV, and only when we're in the room now. So then we have shared reading. I find a series that's a little bit more advanced, but has an appropriate storyline. And so right now we're reading the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Finnegan. And he seems to like that. So we've been reading that together. His green light is on certain days. He has to do them. He does Italian. So we're doing Duolingo Italian with I got a workbook to go along with that. And he does somehow during the week, he'll do Tinkerbox or a STEM activity just to keep him busy, that kind of thing. And the spelling words. So it seems like a lot, but if you make it fun and you have it planned ahead of time, it's so much easier. Now, here's the best part about homeschooling. Are we going to do that structured every day? And every week is going to be perfect? Nope. And you know what the great part of homeschooling is? So what? Then you move it to next week's lesson, period. It is kid-led. If he doesn't get certain stuff in marine biology, are we just going to skip over it and then he's never going to know it. No, we're going to find different methods to keep doing lessons until he understands and grasps that knowledge. And then we move on. So you have like a guideline, but there is no timeline, if that makes sense. So that's the deal with homeschool. Now, the other big news is, I know you guys all knew that my niece was living with us. So she's been here for, was a month and I don't know, what, 15 days? My niece is no longer living with us. And this was a call that I had to make. I'm going to make this story, it's still kind of fresh for me. So we pulled Peter from school. I had all that shit going on. And then Friday was just fucking mental because I had him at home. And I'm trying to like unschool. And so meeting up with some homeschool friends to kind of just like get him into the, you know, the grind of how we do things a little more, rationally, homeschooly. And so one of the things we did Thursday, we went out to dinner as a family, took our niece with us. We actually went to a really nice restaurant. Oh my God, I'm going to go back and we're going to talk about this. So we went to one of my favorite restaurants locally. It's Farm to Table. Husband and wife own it. Husband is chef. Wife is amazing. And let me tell you, I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant because I absolutely love the restaurant, but I'm going to tell a story about a bad experience I had there, but it was because of the service. It had nothing to do with the food itself. And right now in my area, and I'm sure across the US, there is a fucking major problem with trying to get any kind of service providers who give a shit. It's just, you want $100 fucking tip and you want to be balling over it, but you don't want to do any work. And so I knew immediately upon our waiter coming to our table that he was going to be shitty. And for me, when you're paying, this is more of a upscale dinner place. When you're bringing a family out for that, you're not paying less than like $220 for dinner. Okay. And that includes kids. So, could it be worse? Yeah, you're kind of paying anywhere between like 60 and 100 now anyway. But to add another 100 onto that and then a tip, I want exceptional service. And I will state that I have always had exceptional service at this restaurant until this day. So I don't want to taint them or give them a bad name because they are amazing. And I've actually already addressed this to the restaurant and they appreciated that I had reached out to them privately. So we all ordered, and one of the things that I ordered, like I don't even remember what I ordered, to be honest with you. But Mr. Sith ordered the tuna tartare, but he wanted it with his dinner. And I think he ordered the walleye or something. And then Pete ordered like an individual pizza with like some fancy fries and shit like that. And then my niece ordered they're kind of known for this hot rock. And so they bring a hot rock and you have like steak or tuna. She chose steak. And then mac and cheese, she got a side of mac and cheese. So this is all like high end stuff, farm to table. Like I said, everything's made from scratch. They're supposed to bring like these wonderful bread or rolls, right? So they usually bring rolls and they have a wonderful butter. And like I said, everything's made from scratch. And so we never got the bread. So normally I don't eat the bread, but I wanted the bread. I'm stressing out at this point. That meal that day was to treat me so I wouldn't have to cook dinner because all this shit was going on with fucking school, and now I've literally given up all my fucking free time again. And all my projects are going to have to be put to the side or delayed. And and so this was like my time to just chill. So we get there and, he never brings bread. He hardly brought drinks. You had to beg for water. It was just horrible. So I'm thinking, can anybody bring me bread? I need bread. Can I have bread? Usually you bring 2 breads when there's a kid. I mean, I used to, but I'm just saying. So finally I asked somebody, I'm like, could I have bread? Like, I don't understand like why we're not getting bread. Everybody's getting fucking bread. My waiter, no fucking bread. So then they bring the tuna tartare. And I'm like, wait, didn't he asked for that to be served with his meal. So that usually means that he didn't put it in right. So I'm like, this is fucking insane right now. So Mr. Sith is like, no worries, I'll just eat that. So then they bring food out. So they bring out my niece's hot rock shit. They didn't bring it. They brought out her meat and her mac and cheese. Pete's Pizza, my plate. Now Mr. Sith is done with his like small plate that he wanted on the side, but they just take it. So now he doesn't have anything. And then my niece is sitting here with stuff that's supposed to be cooked on a hot rock with no hot rock. So I'm going, I'm trying. Now he doesn't even come to check, which is my biggest fucking pet peeve. If someone else is running your food, check on your fucking tables. So he doesn't even come. I got to wag somebody else down and be like, hi, my husband's missing his food and we all need drinks and she needs a hot rock to cook her fucking food. Like, I'm like really? So nothing. We're talking, I'm halfway finished with my meal and I'm eating slow because I'm agitated. And my niece hasn't touched hers yet because it's raw. She's only eaten mac and cheese. Peach just eating up his fucking pizza. And Mr. Sith has nothing in front of him. So finally, I'm like, and we still have no fucking bread. I wish I was joking. So finally, somebody came by and I'm like, hey, could you give, and the part that made me mad is he literally left our table and said, let me go get you some bread. Nothing. So then he comes back and I'm like, okay, we need bread. And he goes, and his meal, let me go check on that, and fucking runs away. And I'm like, I'm not done talking. What? Then another girl comes to the table and she has a bread thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I know you're just she needs a hot rock because she ordered the hot rock. It's literally in the name. And my husband needs his meal. I don't like to eat if everybody doesn't have something at the table. To me, there's nothing more embarrassing than having to eat at a table by yourself because everybody fucking ate already. I cannot stand that. And it's unacceptable in a high-end restaurant. So I'm like, this is crazy right now. Did we ever get that fucking hot rock or my husband's plate? We absolutely did not. Pete's almost done. I'm done. And so he comes to the table and literally, it's like he had fucking, no disrespect, like he had fucking fallen in a time warp and didn't know what was going on. He goes, how's everything going here? It would go better if she had a hot rock to cook her hot rock steak and my husband had his dish. Oh, he didn't get his dish. No, he didn't get his dish 30 minutes into the meal service. Oh my gosh, people, I can't even. And I'm like, no, like I can't. So when the boys were in the bathroom and then my niece went to the bathroom, she finally got a fucking rock. He finally got a meal. We even ordered dessert because I love their creme brulee and I can't pass up a creme brulee, but it's just the principle. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't tip like I normally do. I'm a huge ass tipper and I tipped ultra conservatively. For me, it was hard to even do. So everybody's in the bathroom. I just want to go home. I'm so fucking aggravated at this point. Like, how dare they ruin my favorite restaurant experience? And so I talked to the girl at the counter who was the manager. And I said, this is what went on. And this is just absolutely unacceptable. And I know that the owner and the chef would not be okay with this. And I don't know what's going on, but it is not okay. And they were like, we're so sorry, like that happened. And, thank you. Could you please like put that in an email and send it? And I'm like, absolutely. So that's what we did. So I was really fucking disappointed about that. Okay, so that's Thursday night. Friday, I've got Pete. We're roaming around homeschooling. Saturday, Mr. Sith's got to fucking work. Of course, it's twice a year. My favorite store, Urban Farm Girls, has a big like outdoor artisan market. It used to be like in a parking lot. Now it's at a damn fairgrounds, and there's like 195 plus vendors. I've been looking forward to this. It's only in May, and I couldn't do something in May. I couldn't do it. So I wanted to do this one. I've been trying to get to this thing for 3 years. Okay. Finally, I'm like, we're going to this. He's not here. So what does that mean? I got to bring the fucking kids. So I'm like, how hard can this be? How hard can this be? And this is why I'm in this place in my life where I just don't want any fucking friends. But I need a friend to do this shit with me. Like, this is what I'm looking for in life. I don't need to fucking see you every day. I don't need to even fucking talk to you every day. But I need somebody who's fucking available to go have coffee, tea, just fucking enjoy each other's company and go to artisan markets. There's that. It's not asking too much. So that's what, I wound up taking, my niece wanted to come, so I took her and Pete. Pete gets in for free. I paid for my niece. Does that matter? At the time, no, but it does later. She dressed inappropriately once again, meaning I don't really understand how people don't know how to dress for the fucking weather when you're 20 years old. However, she wore fucking sweats and a full ass sweatshirt. And when she was sweating, I said, she never clips her hair up. I said, you got long hair, you got a fucking sweatshirt with a hoodie on and long fucking pants. You're making me hot. I'm so hot. I'm so hot. Why would you wear that to an outdoor market at the fairgrounds when it's going to be 86 degrees outside? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that. I can't ask questions anymore. I don't understand. And then she goes to take her shirt off because I said, didn't you say you had a shirt on underneath? Take it off. Tie it around your waist. She takes her shirt off and she has like a sleep shirt on. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I can't. I'm like, whatever floats your boat. But I can already tell that she's like fucking got a problem because she's hot. Okay. I drove 40 minutes to get there. I paid $20 to get in. I'm here to do some fucking shopping, people. So sit the hell down. Peter, he's very good with shopping like that. He just always looks for the soap things because he loves bath bombs. So we found a bath bomb thing. He was picking out his bath bombs. He loves bath bombs. That's the kind of boy I raised. So he's doing all that stuff. He said, Mom, I'm hungry. It's around lunchtime. It's like 11:30, 11:40. Sure. They have a whole food truck area. Let's check out the food truck. Pete wants like fried chicken and tots. Okay, cool. Now, I said, what do you want? Oh, I don't know, whatever. Because, she's real picky about what she eats. So I'm like, whatever. So I find a barbecue cart and I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I want some brisket nachos. That's right. If you're going to eat meat, it better be brisket, right? So I'm like, I want some brisket nachos. So I ordered brisket nachos. She was like, oh, that sounds good. Does it have barbecue sauce on it? I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't work here. So you can order and let them know what you want to do. So I assumed that was all taken care of because, she's 20 and she has food. When you're picky about shit, you got to learn to do that stuff, right? So we get the nachos, we walk back, right? I got water. We walk back, we find a table. It's all community tables, but we find a space in the shade. And then I go to get Peter's food. I come back, her nachos are shut. And I'm like, oh, you didn't have to wait for me to eat. I hand Peter his chicken and Pete goes, no, she doesn't want to eat because there's barbecue sauce on it. Here's me. Okay. Did you tell him to leave barbecue sauce off? Well, you said there wasn't any on it. Well, I also said I don't fucking work there and I'm not really sure. And if you are picky about shit, and I'm like, how much barbecue sauce is on it? I open it up and it was like probably in one of those little squirt bottles and they did a little throop, throop, like over the top. And I'm like, just fucking take those pieces off. Oh, Jesus. and this is where like my entire past came back on how to not behave in public and how to take something and throw it so fucking out of proportion that it literally clicked a switch for me, but not in a bad way, but in a good way. It really made a difference. And so, sorry, Pete just came in and interrupted the podcast. And I just reminded him once again that when people come in here and repeatedly interrupt me when I'm speaking on the podcast, that I lose my words in the flow of where I'm going. So I apologize if this was like strangely erupted or I'm like in a different part of the story. But this is when like everything changed for me. It's when like I really just had this huge revelation, this huge like God moment that I need to stop. I need to stop trying to help people who don't want to help themselves. I need to stop trying to help people that don't appreciate the help. I have to stop helping people when it's not my business to help them. And that was the big one this weekend. So we're at a community table and I can already tell she's fucking triggered and it's going to be a fucking scene. And so I'm trying to eat, but of course she's going on. And I said, listen, to me, if somebody buys you lunch and you're particular about how you eat, it would be logical and adult to go up and order your food how you need your food. I'm not your fucking mama, but if you're going to act like a child, then I'm going to treat you like a child. So basically, this turned into a bitch match because she refused. I don't know why she couldn't just walk back to the fucking food truck and ask them to please, would it be okay if they could get her one without it? And if not, no harm, no foul, I'll take it fucking home. But she made a big deal about it. She wouldn't even get up. It was my fucking fault. And I said, listen, we've treated my niece, before I go into what I told her, we have treated my niece while she was here like she was part of the family. And I've already discussed in the past how much damage due to her inability to follow instructions has been caused to the house. I'll outline that later. But it's unacceptable that we're going to keep spending money. You're going to the baseball game? I'd love to go to that. So then you get another ticket and she's not here. Oh, I'd love to go to the hockey game in October, except she's not here. And not only did we have to buy one seat, we had to buy 2 seats because they only sell them in blocks of 2. And this is a repeated pattern. I get coffee, she needs coffee. I shop on the weekends. She's gone on the weekends. But when she comes back, my time that I plan during the time, can you take me here? Can you take me there? Can you pick me up from the thing? They can't even answer basic. She would say, can you pick me up from the station? What time do you get in? Well, can you pick me up or not? What time do you get in? Well, if it's going to be a problem, what time do you fucking get to the station? You cannot fucking answer this question. I can't commit to being on call to picking you up from a fucking station. Take an Uber. No, I'm not picking you up after fucking 6 o'clock. I'm not picking you up after 4 o'clock. I got to make dinner in my house. We do that here. It is insane. The shit that I was running around. But yet you would think, in her mind, from what she said, was that we made her conform and we're assholes to her. I didn't make you to conform to anything. When you stay in someone's house free of charge, because she stayed here free of charge. Because the deal was is that you would be here and pay us this much rent every month, and it was a measly $250. And I would put that $250 to the side like savings for you. I mean, hello, that's not a bad deal. Free savings account. You should already have that. No bank account, no driver's license, no job. Like, I don't understand. How are you getting your nails done? You're paying $100 to get your nails done. If you put that away in a savings account or in a retirement account, or you invested it, do you know how much money you would have in 30 years? Why would you do that? You don't even have a home. It's hard to teach basic lessons to people who didn't get basic lessons growing up because they're still not in that, realm either. Why is it my responsibility? It's not, Denise. It's not. And I literally slapped myself virtually in the face at that moment at the table. And then I said something that came out wrong. It did. I'm gonna be real honest. It was poorly worded, but that's like my life right now. I can never fucking choose words anymore. But what I wanted to say is that there comes a time, but she was never going to understand it no matter how I worded it, because they're used to just taking, and they're very entitled. The world owes them. When in reality, the world owes you fucking nothing. It's going to give you the shit that you put in. If you give it super shit, you're going to get super shit back. If you get it golden shit, you're going to get golden shit back. And so I was trying to make a point is that, we always try to treat people as family. And when people treat you, it's okay. I wouldn't do it if I couldn't do it. However, there is a sense of entitlement and unappreciativeness when something like this goes down. And you just will not consider in today's day and age that somebody is paying for that. And I have an issue with that in the country as a whole, let alone it coming from my family. So I said, those nachos cost like money, and yet you won't get up and walk over there. I bet you it'd be okay if I walked it over there. But that's ridiculous, and it's a waste. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding? And mind you, we are at a public community table. And as soon as I saw her starting, she's like, I'm fucking off out the rocket. She took money out of her purse and tossed it at me. And I'm like, nope, we're going. So I packed up Pete's shit. I packed up my shit. I put it in the bag of stuff I had thus far. And I got up and we started walking back to the car. Pete and I listened to music on the way. And I would say we were probably about 10 minutes from the house when the shit went down in the car. She fucking went nuts. I went fucking nuts because I went nuts in my head, I should say. I yelled at her a few times to just settle the fuck down because she wasn't hearing me. But she was screaming. She was on the phone screaming at people simply because I told her, when we get home later on tonight, I'd like to sit down with you and Uncle Carl and talk about what our expectations are. Maybe they're not working, and to kind of find out how long you want to be here so that we can just kind of work those expectations out. Are you fucking kicking me out? You fucking kicking me out? Yep. And we're off. Cannon went off. There's no talking to people like that, and I understand that because that's how I am at a point. That's how I was. And you just don't hear anything. And you don't hear anything reasonably because you're not rash. Everything in your head is rash. You're not reasonable. You know what I mean? She called her mom, and I don't know. At one point, she was like, I guess, telling me to talk to her mom on speakerphone. And I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. Let me get this right. I'm driving home. You're screaming like a banshee, lunatic, unfucking hinged. I'm praying internally that I hold my rage markers, right? And I don't get triggered. while she's swinging her fucking arms all over the place. And my son's in the back seat with his hands over his ears, bawling. Yeah, I'm just trying to get home right now. I can't even hear when the car is silent. How the fuck do you expect me to hear now? So we got to the house and she's fucking lit, right? She's fucking lit. She walks upstairs and I'm like, you know what? You can't stay here if you're going to do this. This is unacceptable. Mind you, a little side note, she already got a job that my husband got her. So Mr. Sith got her a job that we're in a place where nobody was hiring because he knew the owner with full benefits, full time. So hopefully she keeps that. It's not like we didn't do anything while we were here. And I don't need to beg you. When I say, I want to see how you can drive my car so we can do that, I don't need you sleeping till 11. And then when I sit down to do something and have something for lunch, you come downstairs and want to know what we're going to do. No, I'm sorry, honey. That's what the morning's for. My kid's been gone all morning. That's when you're supposed to do stuff. I'm not taking you on shopping on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because I already did that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't just want to drive around. I have things to do. I don't sleep all day. I got 1,000 fucking projects. It's the entitlement that it's expected that people will drop at things at the dime. And she was going on and on. She went upstairs. She was tossing shit around. And I said, you know, you can't stay here. Like, I can't even talk to your uncle tonight with you about this. You have to arrange something because you can't stay here tonight. This is just not okay. Peter's fucking bawling in the living room now. And when she started, like, I started hearing that. So it is not uncommon that her and her family have damaged things at apartments they've rented. And so it's not uncommon that for me to think that she's possibly damaging my room upstairs in the bathroom. So I told her, listen, you're going to have to calm down or I'm going to have to call. And she's like, oh, fuck you. I'm going to call the fucking cops and I'm going to tell them what you fucking do. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm going to call the cops. And so I called the non-emergency police line. I told them what happened. They sent some officers. Long story short, she was removed from the house. My sister came and picked her up. My sister was in really good spirits, which surprised me, but kind of, I guess I had some preconceived notions about my sister that she would be really mad, and she might've been really mad, but I think she kind of really understood, which kind of made me respect her as my sister a little bit more, that she understood that this was a problem that didn't all lie on me, but that her daughter had some issues. And then, they came, packed up my sister's car as much as she could. She still has some stuff here. I did get some like threatening messages about packages. And I'm like, yep, we're just going to get your packages, put them to the side. Grandma can pick them up, or all of your things that were left behind. You have till October 15th to pick, or October 30th, I think we gave them, to pick it up. After that, they will be disposed of. This is the legal notification. And then she kept going on and calling me names and, fucking this and bitch and bitch and bitch and you're a bitch and you're a bitch. And I said, you know what? I just blocked your number. I'm like, whatever. It's not worth it to me. I'll call your family when the deadlines are coming and your packages and everything will be in the garage. Here's some of the things that we've done since she's been gone that we discovered. So she was told that when she sits with Buster, so while we went to Canada, she sat with Buster. We told the story before, but a few things bear repeating. We asked her to make sure that when Buster is down here during the day, that the blinds in my office facing the front of the house must be lifted up halfway. They can't be just closed, right? We actually lift them up because he barks at the window and he will pull them apart. She did not tell me that they were broken until I tried to pull them up when I got back from Canada. And then she proceeded to be like, oh, wait, you can't do that to that one. Remember? Because no, there is no remember why I can't do that. There's nothing wrong with this. And it's because the whole bottom of the blind was tore up. So we had to replace all the blinds in the front window because, as most people know, when you have a white blind, you can't just replace one because the color match won't be there because of the sun exposure. So we replaced all 3 of the blinds in my office. Then she was told that the screen door to our slider in the back was, I just want you guys to know the shit that I've been dealing with and how I am meant to felt like I am a problem. And I don't want you guys to feel when you get gaslit like this, that it is you. Because I was repeatedly told in my face about how, again, I'm an asshole. I think I know everything. Fuck me. Everybody warned her about me. And I'm thinking, okay. Okay. Like what part of stability, having your own place to live repeatedly, I believe I am the only person who has lived at this residence for as long as I have without fucking moving because we finally bought a house. In my family. Like, that's insane when you think about it. That's how often everybody moved or we moved growing up, and how often that's happened to my family, not even having apartments at times. Those are personal decisions. And I'm not saying that mine were always perfect. Mine were fucked up too at times. I learned from the best. But I pulled my shit together because I didn't want to live that way. And I want people out there who feel like they're in this vicious circle that you can fucking break out of that. But you have to do it, and you have to have some hard skin while you're doing it, because they're going to fucking fight you all the way. And you can't really care. So back to the blind in the back, the screens were replaced because Buster ran through it, because we learned that if you leave just the screen door open to get a wonderful breeze in the house, and Buster is outside, there are times that he will just walk right through the motherfucking screen to come back in. He is a 150-pound Newfoundland. He's not, a screen isn't going to stop him. So we bought a new screen, which wasn't cheap because it was an old door. So we had to buy a certain and blah, blah, that kind of thing. We had it replaced, and we told her, when Buster is outside, just shut the glass door and leave the screen open. Because if you do, he's going to come through it. But he did knock it down because she left it open, and he came running in and he bent the frame. So now it doesn't sit right, even though we keep trying to fix it. Just saying. That said, there have been lots of instances, like I had said earlier, with the tickets and whatnot. We got her the job. All of that. I'm glad she got it. I wish her the best. But one of the biggest things that bothered me was, since she has been here, and we've talked about this past on the podcast, is that she had been complaining, and I've smelled it, is a strong chemical chlorine smell coming out of that back room. Now, my parents lived here for a little bit, twice. I've used that room as my solitude room, and I've never smelled that smell ever. She complained that our vents were poisoning her. She complained that it was our HVAC. She complained that it was, something coming from outside. She explained all sorts of stuff. I've had the fire department here to check it out for fun. I've had the HVAC guy come to check it out. Mr. Sith has checked it out. Nothing is wrong with anything. And the only reason why I called the fire department is because they have the little detector thing, and they will come do it for free if you call them. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? Because I want to know where this smell is coming from. Now, they did see that the fridge, she had a fridge plugged in. Remember, we talked about this on the podcast. I'm 100% sure. I'm getting a flashback. They did see that there was a fridge in the closet. She had put a mini fridge, like a college fridge. And so, unfortunately, what had happened is that it was plugged into just a regular outlet, which is fine, I guess. But I don't really want a mini fridge that I don't really know where you got on my second floor. So I'd prefer that that's not necessary in here. I don't want food up here anyway. Like, it's not a dining area. I have an issue with that. So we pulled the fridge out and we put it in the garage. And then there were Clorox bleach wipes, and those were like sideways, like they had fallen off the back of the fridge, like they were on there. And you know how they always have that like little bit of liquid on the bottom, bleach, whatnot? They thought maybe that was it because the closet smelled like that, right? So I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is it. Yes, thank God. But then I kept smelling it. Now, albeit at a rarer intervals, but I kept smelling it, and not as strongly. When she left the house, everything was tore up in the room. She took my decorative pillows. I had just redid that room before she came. She took the decorative pillows. She took my big pink crocheted hand blanket. I guess she liked them so much she could have them. And in all honesty, she can have them now because I just want a clean break. It is what it is. If you like those, you can have them. Whatever. I just want to be done and wipe my hands clean of the whole situation. What alarmed me was that on my TV stand, it's kind of like a bookcase, and there was a upside down box, like a little white box. It was a plug adapter. And so I looked and I picked it up. I didn't think anything of it. And it was like, 3 power outlets, like 2 USBs. And I thought, oh, I wonder where she had this plugged in. Did she forget it? And then when I turned it over again, I looked and realized it only had 1 prong. And the other side, where the prong should have been, was burnt. And so I looked over, because the only place this would have been, because there's odd outlets in the room and I have them all taken, would be in the outlet that was behind her standing mirror. And sure as shit, I looked down and there was a prong sticking out of the socket sideways, burned. Okay? All brown and burned. And when you took that box and you put it to your nose, what do you think it smelled like? Like fucking chemical chlorine. I literally, I'm going to tell you guys what I did because I was fucking angry. But the first reaction I had was, thank you, Jesus. She could have burned this fucking house down. Thank you, Jesus. My fucking kids' room's up here. My room's up here. Holy shit. And so Mr. Sith had to cut the fucking power to the room to yank out the fucking thing that was in there. And she burned out the socket, which is why it stopped smelling. But if it hadn't burnt itself out, however that's called, it could have started an electrical fire. Not worth it, Denise. Stop helping people who can't or refuse to help themselves. That's the key word here. Stop helping people who refuse to help themselves. I got 108,000 fucking problems. I need to start working on those. I can't help, fix, prepare. I don't owe anybody anything except my husband and my son. And the police officers were just the nicest dang guys. I kept asking them if they wanted something to eat, something to drink. They were like, no, but you're so nice. And they were looking at all the pictures on the wall and asking where all the vacation pictures were from. And he took me to the side and he said, you look really bad. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but this is really affecting you emotionally. You don't look well. And I said, I have lupus. And he goes, oh, enough said. My wife has lupus. He said, the only person you're responsible for is that boy sitting on the couch right there. Don't you worry about anybody else besides that boy. You're doing the right thing. Don't think twice about it. And I really appreciated that advice. I really did. So needless to say, I spent the next 3-4 days rage cleaning. So my whole first floor and stairwell is fucking immaculate because I used a whole package of Scrub Daddies and fucking wiped everything clean. And I've done my floor. I stripped my whole floor. It's so clean now, and it doesn't have all that buildup on it that if you like walk on it with like socks, you're gonna fall down. I almost like broke my head open, thought I was gonna kill myself in my bathroom the other day because I walked in because I really had to go potty, and I'm like running in from the garage, and I go to turn to get into the powder room, and I hit the rug and it slid, and I was just like, please, Jesus, don't let me die in the bathroom. Now I'm gonna wet my pants. And I'm like, I made it. And so then I put up my fall stuff. So now I'm feeling good because it smells nice in here and it looks nice in here. And I have all my fall decor up and I'm like, yay, that's what I want. And I did like all the extra laundry and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to start cleaning upstairs, but I'm like, I put the schedule together to make sure we're all kitchen up, because what I realized is that my house has always been clean. I even did windows, people. My house has always been clean, but I have let it fall to the wayside. You know what else I've let fall to the wayside? Me. I always made an excuse on why I couldn't take a shower or use some dry shampoo because I was too sore. Because mind you, when you do have lupus, sometimes if you're in a flare, water feels like somebody's throwing, like shooting a nail gun at you. It's pretty shitty. But I've been depressed and really anxiety ridden. And I don't want that. And I know that because now that she's gone and my house is clean and all my fall stuff is out and I'm drinking all the yummy tea, even though it's like fucking 91 degrees outside. I don't care. Inside my house, it is fall, baby. I did my porch. I went back to Trader Joe to get the pretty mums I saw. They had these beautiful, like blossomed, like they were just in that pre-open stage before they just pop of mums, and they were multicolored. They were so pretty and so full. And then I sent Mr. Sith to go do them, to pick them up. I'm like, can you get me 2 of those? And he went to go get them, and I'm like, wait, well, now I only need 1. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Now I'm like, wait, where the hell are the mums? They're like, no mums. So I've been really, really doing a ton of stuff. I'm so sore. I still am. I'm not sleeping because I'm coming down from just the anxiety of it all and the exasperation of it all. And I'm just looking forward to like pulling it together. And so now I sit here trying to figure out, I got to record podcasts. I have not illustrated in a week because I haven't had time. And trying to figure out now when is time for all my projects I made room for, and now I'm homeschooling again. These are the things I'm not disappointed with myself because I wholeheartedly love homeschooling Pete. I find a lot of satisfaction from it, and just knowing that his, goodness and his scholarly instinct comes from me. I did that. And I'll do whatever it takes to make his life better. And I'm going to just keep doing that. But what I do need to do is make sure that I'm making my life better. And I just have to figure out when I'm doing stuff. I'm going to commit. I met a friend that I met at Homeschool Co-op. I met another mom there and teacher, and she was like, we need to get together. And so we were going to meet at my tea shop for like 2 hours. We gave ourselves in the morning, and that turned into 5. And then it turns out that she is feeling the exact same way in her household that I am feeling in mine. And that's overwhelmed, underappreciated, overstressed, overtaxed, begging for help, and receiving none. And so I reached out to Mr. Sith and I said, this, when push comes to shove, this has to stop. There has to be more than men believing that bringing home a paycheck is enough for like their contribution to a household. There are kid duties, there are house duties, there are wife duties, there are relationship duties, there are financial duties. That just can't all be on me. How many times can I say duty? Duty. I've lost it, guys, completely. 100 fucking percent. But I feel like there is an end to this path. I feel like I see the light, that I'm walking this purposefully because I know it's here for a reason, for a purpose. So I'm purposefully walking because I know that this tough time has purpose. And so I need to just keep my eyes open, and I need to trust, and I need to know that there is something more at the end of this, because with all trouble that we walk through, God has something waiting for us. And so I'm like, I'm just going to keep walking, and I'm going to keep thinking good about this. Today, I prayed on my house the other day after I finished cleaning everything downstairs and putting up the fall decor. I felt like it needed a prayer. So I prayed on my house. And then today I saged the shit out of it. So I did all of my saging. And to me, if you've never saged your house, I know a lot of people think like, I don't know, I have a lot of friends who are like Christian, who they don't do Halloween. They don't do like, everything's like got a fucking meaning. And you know what? I'm just not at that point in my walk as a Christian. Halloween's fucking fun for kids. It doesn't mean they're fucking devil worshiping. And if you believe that, that's awesome. But please don't just like put that shit all over Facebook and stuff. It really just sucks the fucking fun out of life in general. And I just want people like to not think that I'm like a fucking witch because I saged my house. Somebody was just like, wait, you saged your house? Why would you do that? Because it smells good and it makes me feel like it's cleansed, like everything, like the air, the energy. I prayed for it the day before, so there you go. It's like super cleansed. And they were like, no, that's witchcraft. No, it's not. I would make a horrible fucking witch because they would have already dunked my ass in water. No. Anywho, I went an hour and almost 15 minutes, my friends. And let me tell you, I feel hella good because I dumped. So please use these stories to know that social media sucks ass. I don't even post anymore when I'm feeling shitty. I'll just be like, yeah, things are shitty. Life happened. It is. I'm not fucking posting, whatever. But that a lot of people are surprised when they hear about this stuff. Oh my God, you didn't even give an indication. Right. Because sometimes you just got to do shit. And it's an indication that's why I tell people to lead with kindness, because you never know what anybody is going through. Some of us are super strong and we mask it. Some of us are super sad and we mask it. Some of us are just super in dire straits, period, and we mask it. Lead with kindness because you never know what anybody's going through. Till next week, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.